Greetings and welcome back. This is part 2 of the games you must play before you die. The link to part 1 is in the description. Games in this video will be quite popular. I guess that's what you wanna see. Because in part 1, not all games were popular and I've received a lot of negative feedback. Because how dare I to include in the list the games that are not ultra popular? Anyway, let's get back to the top. Number 6. Hogwarts Legacy. A game that, in my opinion, did not receive enough praise. I mean, it got some really good reviews, but overall I just don't see people talk much about it. But I believe it could actually win the Game of the Year. It's just the competitors were really good last year. I would recommend you to play this game even if you are not a fan of Harry Potter universe. You actually don't need to be a fan of the books or movies to play this game, because it takes place in a different time period. And even if you actually don't like Harry Potter universe, you should still play this game, at least for the gameplay. It is brilliant, it is unique. To be honest, when I was watching the trailers to the game, I just couldn't understand how they're going to make the gameplay interesting. I thought it would be a game like a museum, where you go on a journey to Hogwarts, to feel how it is to be a Hogwarts student, and nothing more. I was very wrong. The game has probably one of the best fighting designs that I have ever seen. In short, the fighting design is very combo based. You have like 20 different spells and abilities, but you can get really creative with them. For example, there is a spell that slams your opponent on the ground. It doesn't really deal a lot of damage. However, if you cast levitation on the target beforehand, then the slam deals some nice damage. Combos aside, sometimes enemies use certain shields, so you need to use certain types of spells to deal with them. Overall, in a fight, you need to be perceptive, innovating, and make decisions quickly. There is only two issues with the combat system. First, sometimes there's just too many enemies attacking you at the time. Usually, game designers deliberately make enemies not attack the player all at once. Usually the number is limited to 2 enemies at a time, so the player have the time to dodge, though it doesn't seem to be the case with Hogwarts Legacy. And the second issue is that there is not enough spells that affect heavy enemies. I hope that in the next game the developers will solve these issues. But overall, the combat is brilliant, and it's a shame that the game didn't get advertised as a game with cool combat. The focus was always on how cool the game world is, and how you get to visit famous places, take classes, etc. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure that the fans of Harry Potter were really pleased with this part of the game, but a little advertisement on the combat would be appreciated. Now a little about characters. Favorite character? Sebastian, obviously. Quick note, Sebastian was right. His uncle was a douche. If his uncle wasn't trying to stop Sebastian from doing the right thing, but would actually supervise and lead the boy, they would actually succeed and help Anne. Now, if we were talking about characters, I would actually like if we would get Emmett a character arc. He was left outside, and I get that he's not the adventurous type, but that fact could actually be his character arc, how he overcomes his inner fears. In my opinion, it is missed opportunity. And number 5 on my list is Devil May Cry 5. Okay, that's enough. Japanese studios are crazy about their copyrights. Okay, that's better. Objectively, it is the most perfect game in this list. Before we move on, I have to say that all games in this video deserve to be top 1. These games are the best of the best, but I have to rate them somehow, so you're free to perceive any game in this video as number 1. So, Devil May Cry is probably the most perfect game ever, at least the thing it is supposed to do, in its genre. I mean, it can be the most perfect FPS game, obviously. I'm talking about the potential. Capcom used 99.9% of potential of the game. Of course, it also has some minor issues, but they're super small. Like the visual design of the levels is not that diverse at the end of the game as some may want. Or, it would be cool if Nero could switch between his arms without destroying them. Or it would be cool if the game would be longer. Or it would be cool if we could play any mission as any character. That's it. That's all the issues of the game. As you probably noticed, they're super insignificant. If you didn't play the game, you must try it. The main feature of the game is that the point of the game is actually not to beat the game.
No, no, no.
It matters how you beat the game. Devil May Cry is all about style. It is the game about you dominating the opponents. The characters have the potential to do some crazy shit, and you have to live up to this potential. So, how to play Devil May Cry as cool as possible? The game has 4 playable characters, if you play Special Edition. Each character has unique playstyle and moves. They form combos. But to perform a combo is not our objective. Our objective is to form a combo out of combos. In order to play the game the way it is supposed to, your moves must be carried seamlessly from one combo to another. Of course, you can just beat the game and move on, but it is wasted potential. Don't get me wrong. You will still enjoy the game if you don't want to go that deep. You shouldn't be afraid to play it because you don't want to get invested in the game that much. I mean, just try it and see. The desire to perfect your playstyle may come or may not come. You shouldn't force yourself. I'm just saying that it is worth to try the game. Now a quick note on the series in general. It is Devil May Cry 5, so there is 5 games. If you like Devil May Cry 5, you should definitely try Devil May Cry 4 and Devil May Cry 3. Devil May Cry 3 especially. A masterpiece. It is old, but it is a legendary game. I would like to see a Devil May Cry 3 remake one day. Now, DMC 1 and 2 are not worth playing. Mechanically, they are old, visually old, story is pretty much absent. Now, before we move on, if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel and leave a like. Here I usually talk about game design in details. Thank you. Number 4. Mass Effect Trilogy. Yes, not one game but the entire trilogy. I mean, it even feels like one game, that is divided into 3 parts. But if I would have to choose which game is my favorite, I would say Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect is a really popular series, so I doubt that I'm the one to introduce you to these games. However, if you didn't play Mass Effect, here are some reasons why you must do it. First of all, in 2021, Mass Effect Legendary Edition was released. So it basically have all 3 games in one pack, but the game got better visuals and mechanics were refreshed, so they were basically remastered. You'll get like 150 hours of cool RPG for one playthrough, but you'll probably want to go for a second and a third run as well. The game has great characters, but if I would have to choose my favorite, I would say Tali Zora Vas Normandy. Overall, as I said, great characters, and a lot of aliens with their unique cultures that you will enjoy exploring. Take note, Starfield. Humans are not even the main species. In fact, you are as alien to aliens as aliens are to you. What else? Great lore, great dialogues. After each mission, you'll run around the ship to see if any characters have anything to say. Choices. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Mass Effect Trilogy is the best example of choices being carried through the series. Choices you make do manifest in following games. So yes, you'll have to play the games in order. Mass Effect 1, 2 and 3. The gameplay is decent. It has variety. Can't say that it is fantastic, but it does the job. And yes, there is also Mass Effect Andromeda. I mean, if you have nothing better to do, then
Sure.
Number 3, The Witcher 3. What can I say? One more masterpiece. It's a phenomena, the best RPG game for at least 9 years. An example of how a good game have to look like, a beacon in the mist. The Witcher 3 is a very influential game. Some games try to recreate the success of The Witcher, like for example, Assassin's Creed took a turn towards RPG with Assassin's Creed Origins. I think The Witcher 3 was the reason why Ubisoft took such a drastic turn. But unfortunately, Ubisoft actually missed the thing that made The Witcher 3 such a legendary game. It is actually the quality of the quest writing and the universe of The Witcher as a concept. A beautiful continuation of the novels that did justice to the source material. A lot of modern companies just can't wrap their head around the idea that all that it takes to create a media based on already existing novel or a game universe is to do justice to the source material, like what unfortunately didn't happen to the Witcher Netflix show. If after playing the game you will wonder if it is worth to read the books, the answer is yes, absolutely. I especially enjoy meeting Regis in the books, especially because I already knew who he is because of the game, and I really enjoyed the Ciri Lakes Gate. Now, back to the topic. The fighting in the game overall is not that diverse, but it really does the job well, because your moveset is not all of the battle mechanics, because you are fighting enemies, and they are hella diverse. What I mean is that your enemies, that are often various monsters, have their unique movesets that makes you adapt. You are a witcher, a monster hunter, and that's where the game really shines. Because of this, the battles never get boring. Number 2, Baldur's Gate 3.
Why would you want to get f***ed by a bear?
Baldur's Gate 3 is also a modern day phenomena, as The Witcher 3 was in 2015. Now, it's a fresh story, and I think that everyone knows about the game and how brilliant it is. However, I want to point out the fact that the game is not perfect. Like, for example, if you save the Grand Duke Revenant despite turning down Mizora's deal, the game shows no recognition of that, and that's only one example. There are a lot of situations like this one, a lot of bugs, and the game very often, especially in Act 1 and 2, does not give you a lot of options. It is usually choose to be good or bad. No gray area, if you know what I mean. You see, the games in this top are not rated only by how good the games are, because if it would be the case, then for example, Devil May Cry 5 would be above Baldur's Gate 3. Though Baldur's Gate 3 is a different kind of animal, you can't compare it. Baldur's Gate is a massive game that provides a lot of choice making that actually matters. A lot of loot, a lot of builds, mechanics, etc. It is only natural that there might be some unpolished parts. In fact, the fact that the game is in such a good shape is a miracle. A lot of work, tears, and effort has been put in the development of this game. That's why Baldur's Gate 3 is so important. That's why Baldur's Gate 3 is the new beacon of the gaming industry. And number 1, Doki Doki Literature Club. I'm joking. Number 1, The Elder Scrolls Oblivion. Yes, remember what I said earlier? The games in this top are not only rated by how good they are, but also how significant they are to the industry. As The Witcher 3 and Baldur's Gate 3, Oblivion was once a very important game. And you may ask, okay, but why Oblivion, why not Skyrim? For years Skyrim had an upper hand because it was a newer game. However, time have passed and Skyrim is also an old game now. Of course, you can mod the shield out of this game, so it will look like this. But I'm talking about the vanilla Skyrim. And considering that both games are old now, I prefer Oblivion over Skyrim, because Oblivion has a better quest writing, and it actually is a closer to the philosophy of Bethesda. Be who you want to be and do what you want to do. Skyrim, in this regard, throws on you the role of the savior of the world, the chosen one, Dovahkiin. In this regard, Oblivion gives you more freedom, and combine it with good quest writing and bearable gameplay, with a large variety of builds, and you'll get a really good game. If you'll ask me if Oblivion really deserves to be on the first place, I will honestly say no. But number one would be controversial in any case. So why not put my favorite game on the number one? And it is a really good game after all. Plus, a lot of modern gamers may have not played it because they were too young at the moment. So it is a good way to show a good game to a younger audience. Answering to the question, why is this game not on the list or that game? I will answer. First, I obviously didn't play all the games in the world. Second, there are some really good games that are well polished, but sometimes they may lack innovations and thus may lack the significance or influence. Some good games simply do not push the industry forward. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Check my other videos, subscribe to the channel, eat your vegetables and don't be naughty. See you later.